When Duke played Virginia in college basketball, a lot of people were in the house to see Zion and the whole show, including LeBron and his power broker agent, Rich Paul. It's a move that has drawn a fair amount of criticism. LeBron talked about his trip to watch Zion in wide-ranging interview with ESPN's Dave McMenamin and addressed some of that criticism. He says, a recruiting trip. I didn't talk to anybody. They're only saying that because it's Rich, referring to his agent, Rich Paul. Now, Rich is a threat to everybody, and they look at it and they want to keep trying to jab my agent and jab my friend. And what is he doing that's wrong? They don't say that about no other agent when other guys go see anybody. They don't say that about no other agent, but that's my guy, and he's a threat, and he's African-American. Throw that in there. Also, Rich Paul added this, quote, think about it from this perspective. On one end, you got a posse, or they're leeches. Years ago, it was leeches or hangers-on. They're okay when they can call you that, but they're not okay when it's a CEO and you have the biggest superstar in the world supporting somebody that he trusts to do his business off the court and just who happens to be a friend. So plenty to unpack here, guys, as you see how this all went down and what both LeBron and Rich Paul said. But first of all, Jalen, it's not something new that stars and their agents show up to watch these games.
Absolutely. So agents have had their fingerprints and pulled strings for players and player movement and as it related to collegiate prospects since the beginning of time. I've tried to tell people 80% of the rotation players in the NBA right now are literally represented by only like 4 or 5 agents. Yep. Okay, they control the entire game. It's a monopoly board that they're just moving pieces. But here's the difference that has people looking at this situation different. This powerful agent is also best friends with the iconic player that's currently playing in the league. So that does give you a different level of influence. So they were in town to play against Philly. LeBron James against the Sixers, 0 free throw attempts, 0 blocks, 0 steals. Rondo went to 0 points. They were clearly tired. But at the same time, you got to go and check out Zion. You got to get that FaceTime. Of course, everybody's trying to recruit him. Jay-Z was there trying to recruit him for The Rock. Other agents going to be trying to recruit him all of the time. The difference is Rich Paul got a pawn in the game, the king.
Look, Casey Wasserman's the biggest booster at UCLA athletic department. He sits courtside for every single game. He's an agent to NBA players all the time. Aaron Mitz from CAA sits courtside, UCLA games all the time. We don't say anything about it. But because LeBron James is associated and sitting next to his agent, all of a sudden it becomes an issue. It has never been an issue. LeBron went and watched Lonzo play at UCLA. Obviously, he liked somewhat of what he's seen. He probably doesn't like it as much anymore, though.
To me, this has more to do with just the current complexion of the NBA and everybody talking about tampering, Greeny.
Yeah, I mean, these two stories sort of play off each other because I think right now there are a lot of people who believe that LeBron and Rich Paul are manipulating Anthony Davis and thus manipulating the entire NBA situation. But I'm completely on LeBron's side on this one. There were further quotes in there where he pointed out when he was in high school, Allen Iverson came to see him play. Shaq came to see him play. No one said a word. Now, those guys weren't agents, but we live in a different time. The way power, and you set it up extremely well, and LeBron is connected to it directly. The way power is now distributed in the NBA has completely changed, and everyone had better get used to it because LeBron won't be the last guy to do this.
I remember a home game at the University of Michigan. We were playing against Iowa. I looked up, and the biggest artist in the world was sitting front row, MC Hammer.
Goodness.
With Deion Sanders. And you know what they were doing at the time? Exactly what Rich and LeBron are doing at the time. You have a powerful individual using his influence to try to recruit players. It's been happening since the beginning of time.
How much fun was that? Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like. I'm glad that you brought that up because I'd forgotten to ask you about this. But, I mean, before there was Zion, there was you guys. So you had that same circumstance, right? Were the agents all over you? Forget about MC Hammer and Deion. There must have been agents all over you guys, right?
Absolutely. They were all around. They were at the hotels. They were on campus. They were at road games. They were at home games. They were sending people that were influencers to come get close to us. This is about money, everybody. And when that takes place, there are going to be people trying to do what they can to make sure that they're in line.
Money.
All right. So, again, for whatever it's worth, we're all on LeBron's side on this one, right?
Yes.
I don't even understand.
Unless he somehow can get Zion to the Lakers, then maybe there's something to it.
Stop it.
People will get mad. Listen, it's not impossible. They could miss the playoffs.